Imagine a city so powerful, so golden, and so arrogant that its walls were said to reach the heavens. It was the jewel of the ancient world, Babylon. The Bible calls it the Lady of Kingdoms. But today, if you go to the location of ancient Babylon in modern-day Iraq, you won't find a bustling metropolis. You will find dust. You will find mounds of dirt. And according to a terrifying prophecy written by Isaiah 2,700 years ago, you will find something else. Isaiah predicted that Babylon would not just be destroyed. He predicted it would become a prison, a cage. He warned that after the humans were gone, the ruins would become the playground for wild beasts of the desert, doleful creatures, and something the King James Bible calls the Satyrs. What exactly did Isaiah see dancing in the ruins of the fallen city? Why does the original Hebrew text describe hairy demons inhabiting the wasteland? And could these ancient entities still be there today? Welcome to Pit to Palace Stories. Today we are unlocking the prophecy of the goat demons of Babylon. To understand why this prophecy is so chilling, we have to understand what Babylon was. In the ancient world, this wasn't just a city, it was the city. King Nebuchadnezzar built the Hanging Gardens, one of the wonders of the world. It was a center of commerce, science, and, unfortunately, deep occult idolatry. The people of Babylon felt untouchable. They believed their walls were impenetrable. But God, speaking through the prophet Isaiah, had a different plan. In Isaiah chapter 13, long before Babylon actually fell to the Medes and Persians, God pronounced a judgment that sounds more like a horror movie script than a history lesson. Listen to Isaiah 13, verses 19 through 20. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Now, pause there. That part of the prophecy is already a historical miracle. Most ancient cities like Rome, Jerusalem, or Damascus are still inhabited today. People build on top of the ruins. But Babylon? No. It remains largely deserted. But then the prophecy gets weird. Verse 21 doesn't just talk about empty buildings, it talks about the new tenants. Verse 21 says, "But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there." Satyrs, dancing. Most of us think of a satyr as a Greek myth, half man, half goat playing a flute. So why is this word in the Bible? This is where we have to dig into the original Hebrew, because the truth is much darker than a Greek fairy tale. The word translated as satyr in the King James Version comes from the Hebrew word sayir, sayir. The plural is sayirim. Literally, this word means the hairy ones, or he-goats. If you look at a modern translation, it might just say wild goats. And sure, wild goats climbing on ruins make sense physically. But here is the twist. The Bible uses this same word, sayirim, in other places, and it is not talking about farm animals. In Leviticus 17:7, God gives a strict command to the Israelites. He says, "And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils, after whom they have gone a-whoring." Guess what word is used for devils there? Sayirim, the goat demons. In 2 Chronicles 11:15, it says King Jeroboam appointed priests for the high places, and for the devils, the Sayirim, and for the calves which he had made. So, context is everything. When Isaiah says the Sayirim shall dance there, he isn't just painting a picture of nature reclaiming a city. He is describing a spiritual takeover. He is saying that once the protection of God is lifted and the human civilization is wiped out, the ruins become the habitation of the demonic.
These hairy ones were likely the entities worshipped by the pagans in the form of goat idols, and the prophecy implies that because Babylon was the capital of idolatry, God sentenced it to become the permanent residence of the very demons they worshipped. Imagine the scene. The great palaces of Nebuchadnezzar are crumbling. The moonlight hits the broken stones, and in the shadows, these hairy ones, these Satyrs, these goat demons, are dancing, not out of joy, but in mocking triumph over the destruction of man's pride. This brings us to a terrifying biblical concept, the geography of evil. Does the Bible teach that demons live in specific places? Actually, yes. Remember what Jesus said in Matthew 12:43, "When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none." Dry places, wastelands, ruins, deserts. Throughout Scripture, the wilderness is seen as the domain of the enemy. The scapegoat in the Old Testament, which carried the sins of the people, was sent where? Into the wilderness, into the domain of Azazel. Isaiah 34 contains a parallel prophecy against the land of Edom, which is very similar to the one against Babylon. It lists the Satyrs, the goat demons again, but it adds another figure, the Lilith, or the night monster, or screech owl, depending on your translation. The picture the Bible paints is that when a civilization falls due to judgment, the lights go out, the people leave, and the unclean spirits move in. Babylon is described in Revelation 18, verse 2, as the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. It's not just dirt and stone, it's a spiritual prison. So, what about today? Can you visit the Satyrs? Well, people have tried to defy this prophecy. Saddam Hussein, the former dictator of Iraq, was obsessed with Nebuchadnezzar. He spent millions of dollars trying to rebuild Babylon. He wanted to make it his summer palace. He stamped his own name onto the bricks, right next to Nebuchadnezzar's ancient name. He tried to prove Isaiah wrong. He tried to make Babylon inhabited again. And look what happened. War broke out. His regime fell. He was captured and eventually executed. The rebuilding stopped. The new walls he built are already cracking. The palace he constructed stands empty, overlooking the ancient mounds. Despite all the money and power of the 20th century, Babylon remains uninhabited. The tourists come and go during the day, but at night it is silent. The prophecy stands undefeated. The story of the goat demons of Babylon isn't just a ghost story, it's a warning about pride. Babylon represents the world system, the belief that we can build a paradise without God. But God warns us that a life built without Him eventually turns into a ruin, a dry place where only the Satyrs can dance. The good news is, we don't belong to Babylon. We belong to a kingdom that cannot be shaken. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mysterious creatures of the Bible, you need to watch this video right here, where we talk about the monsters of Revelation 9. You won't believe what is locked away in the abyss. I'm the host of Pit to Palace Stories. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a biblical mystery. Thanks for watching, and God bless.